Welcome back, everyone. We are now moving into our next session, and it brings us full circle to where we started today, reimagining what dashboards can be. So please welcome Chintan Patel, Manager of Data Engineering at ThredUp. And Chintan is building the future of composable BI, dashboards that don't just display data, but actually think and adapt. So please welcome Chintan Patel from ThredUp.
Hey, hi everyone. Thanks, Michael. I hope you all are having a good time today so far. Pretty interesting sessions. So this session is going to be about building dashboards that think how AI empowers composable BI to build more smarter dashboards. And I just want to explore this idea with you all. So let's jump in. This is the agenda. We'll learn a bit about Composable BI, see how AI really elevates the capabilities there, look at some design considerations, and we'll have some time for questions. A bit about me. I've been in the data space all my career and been focusing on ETL, data integration, analytics engineering. That's been my forte, but getting into platform administration, governance as well now. All right, so composable BI, right? What is composable BI? This is not a new concept. It's something that's been around and discussed for a few years. And it's about building analytics from modular building blocks rather than having one giant monolithic platform. All the companies are, yeah, no one has one big, yeah, if it is a decent sized company, then you generally don't live in that space. It's already, we have different pieces in there. But this is, about using the best of breed services which are out there and connecting them to get more control over your entire analytics platform. And so each of these services would be under these different layers, right? On the data storage, you could be using different types of services to store various kinds of data. Then you'll have on the data storage side, like, yeah, this bit in between that, there's transformations as well. What do you want to do? Then define a semantic layer. However you do it, cube is one option. And then there is a lots of pieces in visualization. So a lot of time the visualization and semantic layer are combined. But if we get the best of both worlds, where you get the consistency of semantic layer, but flexibility and the visualization, you could come up with some cool things. So that's what we want to explore. So yeah, how AI would like to see it, a composable BI. I think it does represent it quite well, where you have all these different pieces, services, and then you plug them in together, where each of them like ties in seamlessly with the next. Right. So what happens when this composable BI stack, which has been around for a few years, is gets meets AI, right? What is possible? So let's just see a quick productivity comparison. When like AI came in past 2 years, 3 years, what we have seen is developers really start treating code as disposable. Build stuff from scratch, you don't like it, the design doesn't work out, rebuild again. Developers throw away code every day, right? You build something you don't like, you dispose of it. And end of it is the improved productivity for a developer is faster code, like faster time to market, right? You ship the code faster. On the same lens, if we think for a business user, right, what could AI do from an analytics landscape is give them on demand analytics. Could be disposable and it's bespoke, something that's crafted for the user, a role which they are on. So this could also for business user, it's like the the impact that should be created is faster time to insight, not not really just getting some productivity gains, some of the things are getting done, but really getting to the end goal, the entire life cycle, the analytics life cycle should be squeezed in. You should get to your insights faster. Okay, so how AI agents can help with this on the fly or bespoke analysis, which is sharing, right? So, one thing is agents inherently they can understand the stuff that we're sending. If they're looking at data or a chart, they can figure out trends on what's going on, peaks and valleys. And there could be some reasoning where they see a trend and then you determine what is the next relevant question to ask. So the agents have that capability. All what they need is some more guidance on the run books on how to really make sense of the data. What are the different paths that are possible? You could have hundreds and thousands of metrics in defined in your semantic layer, but how do you make sense of? You need some run books to guide them along the way. And the other is they can augment that analysis with data from some other events in the organization. Could be any other data store, your sales calendar, or some issue happened in the at the due to a PR release. Could be anything, right? So they could really connect the dots from there. That's what we get with an agentic analysis. I'm sure like this has been discussed in this today quite a bit. So let's look at this with an example of from a bespoke analysis standpoint, right? So bear with me on the chart. I will try to explain it. You start here and then just see like this is, let's just imagine this is an agent starting an analysis. User comes in and asks a question. Like the question, let's say, is why was the revenue down in the last hour, right? What happened? You see a 10% decline in revenue, gross revenue. So that's the initial data point. Agent comes in and sees the gross revenue. There is something going on, like it sees a dip. Okay. And then it goes to the decision box. Does this explain the whole analysis? No, there is some question there. So it goes in and fetches the next data point, which is the item views or what's the traffic on the site. So this is, think of it as like ThredUp is an e-commerce fashion resale in the fashion resale space. So this is, let's say, an e-commerce example where you go to an e-commerce, you're looking at the data, the agent sees the revenue is down 10%, then it goes to the next point where it looks at the traffic, how many items are being used, or it's a proxy for the traffic on the site. That looks stable. All right, goes back and thinks, is there more to be analyzed? Can I fully explain what I saw in the initial trend? Probably not. More data to be analyzed. So it goes in and checks the add to cart. What's the metrics then? How the counts there? That looks good. Go to checkout. Checkout rate is also fine. So it's then goes to payments. Finally, it's payment where there's some issue and the payment are not going through. So this is the iterative loop that the agent takes on its own in the sense with guided with some runbooks and all the setup. But this is what's possible where agents can go in repeatedly and try to define an analysis, go down a particular path and get to a root cause, give the same snapshot of a view at that point of time. So when you see the gross revenue, agent knows that this is a chart or data point which I should share. Checkout is another thing that the agent should be sharing because when you see the revenues down, but the checkout rates are still fine. So the entire funnel till there is all good. Next comes the payment, right? That's another point that should be shared. So this could be just sharing the data points or the charts that really matter at that point in time. Item views or traffic, add to cart. You could slice it like if in a static dashboard, there could be tons of tiles just to look at checkout and the traffic in several different, you slice it by product, platform, category, different ways to look at it. But all of that just adds to the noise in the dashboard. The real thing to focus on at this point in time is just these three things, which tell the full picture. You don't need 30 tiles and someone to spend time going through it. So that's, in a sense, the on-the-fly analysis that I want to share about. This is the shift from a static dashboard to an adaptive one. It really treats the code as the dashboard. You build down like whatever trend or analysis you're trying to go after. You just configure those tiles as the code. You look at the data, figure out what are the trends or what are the exact data points or charts to be shared, assemble that code, and build a dashboard from there. And it's composed on the fly based on the trends you see, determine what is relevant, what should be included, what not, and yeah, finally, just keep the relevant stuff. So how do we make this kind of a setup possible, right? What is needed here? First thing is governance. This is basically governance on the semantic layer, plus giving agents some guidance, right? On where does the boundary lie? Like if you're in a particular domain, finance domain, it has 300 measures defined in there. That's probably too much for it to look at. You narrow it down to 5 or 10 top high level, set it up at different levels. Top level is this, then this is a deeper look, and then you could have a granular look. And these are the measures that fall into these buckets. Start here, look at this next, then go here. So defining like which domain, what are the KPIs at different levels is needed for this. Then the agents should have some runbooks on if you see a decline in revenue, what are the things you should look at? If there's nothing happening on the side, the traffic, checkout, the payments, the entire funnel is good, maybe look at the merchandising, look at the marketing spend. What are the measures to look at? So here we are just giving it, defining the boundaries, the space, finite space, setting the environment for the agent where it can go in and play around, try to figure out the analysis, not really opening the whole kitchen sink to it. Another thing, like this is a little more advanced, but something that could really supercharge this analysis is if it is augmented, if the agent has a way to look at some other information also and try to answer some trends, like get some understanding on why some trends are happening. Could be a new product launch, right? Or you turn down a product line, whatever. And sales strategies for e-commerce, it's pretty common, pretty standard to see that. So those kind of things could really help. And the other piece, like on the personalization side, is user context, where if we configure the goals and the kind of analysis KPIs that a certain set of users want to see, that's where the personalization comes in. Who is asking this question? Do I need to give an exact level answer? Or is this someone more at the grassroots level who wants to see the granular of each marketing campaign, what's going on, or each product category, how is it performing? So these pieces is what, like plugging in these together is what will make the composable BI platform agentic. And you could drive like on the fly analysis based on this. So I just want to leave you with a quick example on if you're interested in something, how to get started. Just pick one signal or metric that the business cares about, or it really drives decisions, right? And try to build a dynamic tile which could explain some of the fluctuations there. And the tile is, it could be triggered by something, or even like where every hour it goes and sees some things and then has to take a decision based on it. And the action is the final piece where it gets connected to it's not just a monitoring system, it's more intelligent than that, where it tries to navigate, have a dynamic analysis path each time based on the data trend it sees. So if there are some fluctuations of things that are beyond certain threshold, something, set up a Slack alert, a Jira ticket, or however action you want to set up to start with, right? And then it could go more advanced beyond that. But this is how, just a really quick way to get started on focusing on just one metric, seeing a tile, how do you productionize it? That's all from me, real quick and short. It's just an exploration I wanted to do with you all, how the capabilities of AI can supercharge the composable BI platform landscape.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights on Composable BI, Chintan. We have some time for a few questions from the audience. So I'm going to read a question from Dmitry. Dmitry is asking he wants to know about the average time for successful implementation and basically what was shown on the fly analysis side. Dmitry is specifically interested in large scale projects, like, for example, 100 million customer interactions per month. And basically, Dmitry's question is, how long have real projects taken?
See, the real projects to go from even to start with, let me say, we are not in production yet. We are rapidly prototyping, experimenting. So I think the timeline for a small POC could really be a week to 2 weeks. You could try something out and see like what I showed as a quick win, where for one metric a tile, how it works out. And then the real large scale implementation really depends on where your data landscape is, what stage it is, how well is it semantically defined, how easy is it for you to break out those metrics into domains and correlate them. Yeah, so I think it's really subjective from that point on.
Thank you so much, Chintan. We really appreciate having you here.
All right, thanks everyone.